How's it going, everybody? I'm Ronald Jr. and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be checking out the Grote guitar, as you can tell by the title. We're going to see how good they are and you know, are they worth buying? And this was on my porch today. You can hear there's a lot of sloppiness in there. So my guess it's just the guitar box with the guitar in it. It's not double boxed or anything. So we're going to go ahead and open it up. I did cut the tape already and stuff. So we're going to go ahead and pop this open. So yeah, it's got your just typical guitar box, styrofoam. It says 106 on there. I don't know what that means. Probably something they had marked in the Amazon warehouse. But it comes in your typical bag with the rubber band doing it. So it comes with 2 Allen keys, 2 picks, and one of those cheap cables. Does that say Trump? I have a pick that says Trump on it. So it comes with a pick that says Trump. So I don't know. So let's go ahead and uncover this. So this kind of replicates the Epiphone Century, I think that's what it's called, guitar. This is actually full hollow. It has a little block underneath. We'll get a video of that here in a little bit on the bench, but it has a little block underneath here. Right off the bat, the action's actually pretty low. Let's check out the finish. So we got some polishing compound on there. The back is a Sunburst. The neck is brown. Probably doesn't look like that in the video. It's dark brown. It says Grote since 1989. Has a really nice sparkly Grote inlay. It's a sticker is what it is, not an inlay. You can sand that off very easily. There is some buffing marks on here. It looks like it needs to be buffed out a little bit better. The frets look super shiny and they look super smooth. So it has a regular Gibson truss rod cover. This is not a raised one like everybody else got. This was like a bone nut, honestly. Has your cheap tuners, which I don't know how they work yet. I haven't tuned it up. Just got it out of the box. Just showed up. So interested to see how these work out. They're Grover style. The neck feels kind of chunky. The neck's kind of chunky on this one. That neck angle looks about right. I do see a little bit of mess up right here in the fretboard, which I'll get you a closer look at that. Even in the inlays look a little cracked. There is some filler around these inlays. Nothing special. It has a P90. Didn't tear that sticker off. Go ahead and tear it off the pick guard too. So overall, the finish work on this guitar is actually really nice. There is some buffing compound left on there, which I can get that off of there, but I must say this is really nice. You can't beat it, you know, for 160 bucks. You can actually see the wood grain move, which a lot of cheap guitars you don't see that because it's like a photo, and this is actually the wood grain. It looks really good. So the paint job on this is actually really good. This is some fake rosewood. I don't think it's like legit real rosewood. And the thing is, it's painted. It's been sealed. I don't like that. I'm not a big fan of that at all. It's got really cheap strings on it. It's from China. So yeah, so full hollow. Like I said, there is a little block right here. Pretty sure it has mini pots in it. It's just a volume and a tone. What else more do you need with this? All right, so we got this guitar tuned up, and the tuners are pretty jumpy. They got a lot of slack in them. It's almost like the Jackson guitar that I bought. They'll work, but they're not precise, all right? Expected that on a $160 guitar. The thing that shocked me the most was how well the frets are done. I could not find a high fret on this guitar. The fretwork is perfect. There's no fret sprout. There's no problems whatsoever with the neck, the way it feels, the way it plays. The setup on this thing is super low. It's so low that it doesn't buzz, but it's so low that I can't stand it. I like my action a little bit higher. And it sounds amazing, without it plugged in. So I'm impressed. Like I said, there is some swirl marks on it where they didn't buff it perfectly, and there's some buffing compound still left on it, which rubs off super easily. It has some like cheap sticker inlay work, cheap tuners. I do like how they use the bell truss rod cover, even though it's not the raised one. It says Grote. This one actually looks better. On a budget guitar, this is what I expect. Something that looks like this, right? The paint work is right where it needs to be. Like I said, they skimped out on a lot of stuff, but the stuff that matters is what they put the money into. It has a Tune-O-Matic style bridge without the retaining wire, which I was impressed with that. Really nice tailpiece, really nice knobs. I mean, you don't get knobs like that every day on a budget guitar. Really nice pick guard, 3-ply pick guard. Where it mattered, they put the time into, and like I always say, in the fretwork. They made the guitar play good. It even feels like this is rounded over a little bit. The nut slots are cut properly. They're not super deep and look funny. This guitar was set up perfect. This guitar is set up really, really well. I'm impressed. I'm impressed with this guitar. And what more? What more could I say about it? I'm really impressed. Before we plug it in, we are going to go to the bench, take a look inside, get a closer look at everything so you guys know what you're getting. And I'm going to point out a couple flaws. And then we'll plug it in and see what it sounds like. All right, we're over here taking a look. As you can see, there's some buffing compound on there. It's what this stuff is that comes right off. It's all over the guitar. The only concern that I have is a little chip right there. I don't know what that is. It's the only downfall that I see on this guitar. Other than that, the rest of the guitar is perfect. This has a cheap P90 in it. I'm not even going to be bothering pulling that out because it's just a cheap P90. I am going to be looking inside of the F-holes so you guys can see what's inside there. But there's those knobs. They feel higher end to me. They just feel really, really good, honestly. There's that bridge. You can tell it's cheap, but it's a good upgrade over the retaining wire. And here's your tailpiece. Pretty basic tailpiece. And then, the fretboard doesn't look half bad. Here's the feeler that you see around the inlays. And there's the marks that I was talking about in the inlays. But that's no big deal, okay? $160 guitar. There's that. It looks like plastic now that I got it in the light. But I tell you what, it's a lot better plastic. This is done a lot better than most budget guitars that I get. Usually I have to just take the nut off and replace it right away because of how bad a job they did. This, on the other hand, actually looks good. Pretty cool truss rod cover. There's your nice inlays / stickers is pretty much what that is. And here's your fake Grover tuners. Has an Allen key in here for the truss rod, and then you have Allen keys for the adjustment on your bridge. So let's go ahead and take a look inside the F-hole. See, there's more of that compound right there. It's all over the guitar. So just needs one good buff, and it'll look a lot better. So let's go ahead and take a look inside this guitar and see what the inside looks like. So there's the block that I'm talking about. Right there. That's where your bridge sits. And here is the trump pick. And here is two of the same Allen keys. Okay, so this is not going to work your bridge. So they sent two truss rod turning keys, which is no big deal. And then you get your cheap cable. Let's plug it in and hear what it sounds like. So for a $160 guitar, I'm really impressed. 169 or 170 or whatever it goes for. I'm truly impressed with the paintwork on this guitar, with the neck on this guitar feels really good. It's not like super thin like an Epiphone. You know, this is a copy of an Epiphone. Like I said, there is a little flaw on the fretboard, but that's no big deal because, you know, this is a cheap budget guitar. I expect flaws, and usually I point out all the flaws on video so I can tell you guys, so you guys know what to replace. So if I'd have to replace anything on this guitar right away, honestly, the only thing I'd replace would be the nut with a true bone nut, and I'd change the tuners. So you're looking at about 80 bucks right there, and that's all you have in this guitar. It sounds good. This guitar is not made for rock and roll. You know, you can't play with heavy gain sounds because it will feedback, because it is hollow in here. There's just a block inside where the bridge goes so it doesn't cave in. It's more of a, you know, old style guitar that, you know, they play guitars like this in the Army, right, back in the day. It's more for clean tones, jazz, and stuff like that. And this guitar delivers on that. It actually, that P90 sounds pretty good for a cheap P90. Honestly, I'm not going to upgrade anything. You know, I was expecting to get this guitar in the mail, have to do some fret work, you know, all this stuff and do all that. And the only thing I'm going to do, honestly, is just replace the tuners. And I got aftermarket tuners over there that I'm going to be using, and they'll work just fine. I do recommend putting a new set of strings on there because the strings that come with it are Chinese and they are junk. And when I do that, I'm going to clean the guitar. I'm actually going to take the pick guard off because I'm not a big fan of that pick guard being here. It is with the pick guard off of it. And honestly, I like it. It feels a lot better. And I feel like it lets it resonate out of the body a lot better because that pick guard ain't in front of the F-hole. But this guitar, man, it just sustains so well for a cheap guitar. Really impressed. I'm impressed with the quality and the playability of this guitar. The frets are perfect. I'm kind of disappointed that I don't get to work on this guitar. It takes the fun out of buying a budget guitar. And not only do they have this style guitar, they have like a carved top Telly style guitar, 335 guitar, Les Paul style guitar. And I'm telling you, if the quality's as good as this guitar is with the rest of them, I'm super impressed. I don't have any complaints other than the fretboard right here chip. I don't know what that's all about, and they could polish it a little bit better. But for what it sounds like and how it's constructed and what it looks like and how it feels, I'm really impressed. You know, this almost feels like the Epiphone, okay? The Epiphone had a slimmer neck, but the quality of the Epiphone was really nice when you play those guitars. And I have to say, this is almost to there. You know, that's almost the quality of the Epiphone. And, you know, for 170, 160 or however much they go for, they go up and down every once in a while. This is worth buying. I do recommend this guitar. I might even go ahead and throw a Grote bridge on here just because I can. But if you don't have a Grote guitar, or a Grote guitar, not a Grote, if you don't have a Grote guitar, I recommend buying one and playing with it a little bit, because this one I'm super impressed with. I didn't think that it was going to be like this. I didn't think the action would come set so low. I didn't think the frets would come the way they did. You know, they really took their time and they focused on the things that mattered instead of looking good. A lot of budget guitars will look good, but they won't perform because they skipped over the most important steps. This guitar, it looks okay, it looks good, and they didn't skip the most important thing, the playability and the intonation. It's all in tune, and you know what? I don't have nothing bad to say about it. I'm impressed. I've always said they had some, you know, really good quality. They're up there with Harley Benton. I believe Harley Benton is the leading brand, the budget brand right now. And, you know, don't get me wrong, Firefly, they have great guitars too. There's some work that needs done to get them to where they're at, but this one right out of the box, I tuned this thing up. I didn't even adjust anything. I tuned this thing up with the strings that came with it, and I played it, and it did just fine. Like I said, the tuners are jumpy. They're a little weird. They do have the right spacing, I can see. They're not a weird spacing, so you can use 3 on a side plate if you wanted to. But yeah, looks pretty sick. Has them big block inlays. Has a nice looking rosewood fretboard. The binding's nice. Nothing chipped. Got a nice raised back, and you can see the wood grain move. Now it doesn't have a super carved top on it. Okay, it's pretty flat. The back, honestly, I think has a bigger carved top than the front, which is no big deal with me. I like it. I like the way it looks. I like the way it feels, and I like the way it plays. And this will be a nice jazz guitar. So hope you guys enjoyed this review. Give it a thumbs up. I'm Ronald Jr., and I'll see you guys next time.